Hello again, everybody. This is John and Glenn with BestPriceNutrition.com. Today we're going to review Scivation Xtend. It comes in two sizes. It comes in a 30 serving container and this is a 90, right? Yeah, 90 serving container. And there's a bunch of flavors. What?
Yeah, there's like an apple, an orange, watermelon, grape.
Fruit punch?
Yeah, fruit punch. The most popular, I think, is the watermelon that we've seen. I haven't tried it myself, but the reviews on flavors is that they all generally taste pretty good, but I think the watermelon's the most popular.
This is probably the most popular branched chain amino acid supplement out there. What that means, it's going to contain 3 amino acids, specifically leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Some of them also include glutamine, like this one, and I believe also ice from Extreme Formulations. That's probably the next one as far as what's popular. And then this one also contains Citrulline Malate. Well, let's run real quick through some of the effects you could expect from a BCAA supplement. So, Glenn, if you want to run through each one.
Yeah, the BCAAs are the leucine, isoleucine, and valine. What they're useful for is generally keeping your body from going catabolic or using muscle mass as an energy source. They're beneficial if taken on an empty stomach because you don't want anything competing for absorption for them because they are essentially free-form aminos. They're not peptide.
Yeah, they're free-form, so they're not going to be as stable in solution. So a competitive environment would be not an empty stomach. You know, other protein peptides. Peptides will tend to outcompete free-form amino acids for absorption. Now, there are some who will try and debate you on that, but you know, most of the research pretty much confirms that that's the case. So if you're going to take it, it's best to take it maybe in between meals, or pre-workout on an empty stomach. That seems to be when most people do it. And like Glenn says, it's been shown to increase rates of protein synthesis, decrease protein degradation. We should probably cover, you want to go into the mechanism of action, kind of how it does that, and by activating the mTOR pathway.
Yeah, it activates the mTOR pathway, which essentially keeps your body in an anabolic state. It tells your body to create proteins or build proteins.
Yeah, the cell sense a higher level of ATP, which activates this pathway, and then the opposite happens. It gets blocked actually when ATP levels are decreased. So, you know, it's a protein synthesis regulator is what the mTOR pathway is.
That's the easiest way of putting it, I guess. So the benefit of that, though, is that if you're working out, you don't want to be using muscle mass or protein for energy or breaking down that. You want to be in a state where you're building. So that's where the benefit of these 3 branched chain amino acids come in. The next would be glutamine. You'll see glutamine, it's been popular for years as a recovery agent to help recover. It's also beneficial to your digestive tract. Now, in here, there's 2.5 grams. I know a lot of studies on glutamine show really, really high doses before you get to that point of recovery or enhancing recovery.
And even that, it's become kind of clear that that's not even effective. I believe the International Society of Sports Nutrition has it as seemingly ineffective at this point. So like you said, though, because the stomach lining is primarily the amino acid glutamine, and you're replacing it constantly as a human being to make up for the highly acidic environment. So
yeah, you'll see most product, or like let's say there's a comprehensive product for your digestive tract, a lot of them will include glutamine because of that reason. A lot of the lining in your intestines and colon is glutamine. So this 2.5 grams is probably just going to get taken up and remain there as an aid for digestion.
Yeah, some of the effects that you'd read in the magazines, I'd say, late 90s, early 2000s, so on and so forth, turned out to be hyperbole. So we'll wait and find out, but that's kind of where that's at right now in terms of glutamine. Moving on to citrulline malate.
Basically citrulline malate can increase the amount of arginine in the body, and it's also an arginase inhibitor. What that would mean is that it can help with pumps or increasing nitric oxide levels in the body. I've seen it used for increasing endurance. It also can lower lactic acid and ammonia levels in the body. Ammonia and lactic acid build up as you're working out throughout the workout. As far as an arginase inhibitor, as your body produces nitric oxide or uses arginine in the production of nitric oxide, your body combats that with an enzyme called arginase, which actually can decrease that from happening or decrease your nitric oxide production.
Yeah, because in some of the arginase inhibitors, it's been thought that there's some negative effects to that too. That you're seeing some people say. The main thought is that if you if you're inhibiting arginase, like you said, you're going to increase nitric oxide levels, but there might be some negative effects on urea content because it actually slows the production of urea. So that's another thought. You know, most of the research in this area that I have seen has been on the effects on penile tissue, actually. Norvaline is another one that's an arginase inhibitor. And just the fact is that the study that we've seen have shown that to be ineffective at this point. So, you know, there's no magic supplement so far that we've seen as far as increasing nitric oxide levels. So
no, your body's always has its mechanisms to remain at a homeostasis level or remain balanced. So it does generally start to fight these things.
Now you're going to find that there's a study, if you go look on Xtend specifically, that was funded by Scivation, and the study would have you believe that BCAAs are superior to carbohydrates, which, you know, they probably are, but depending on what the use is for, whey protein, and it's first of all, this published study is just an abstract. It has not been peer reviewed, and it has been funded by Scivation, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. What we do know from other research is that, like we discussed, it'll increase the rate of protein synthesis. It'll decrease protein degradation, again, by activating that mTOR pathway. Now, another way to do that is if you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, you know, your calories are full, you're not going to have that concern of breaking down muscle tissue. That's not a concern, because your body's going to have plenty of calories. You know, your body's not going to turn to protein degradation if your blood sugar's high.
Yeah, so, if you're a bodybuilder or an athlete, you're generally going to be taking in a meal every 2, 3, 4 hours. So, and in those meals there's generally a lot of protein. So you're getting in enough of these amino acids throughout that time.
Yeah, and if you're on a low-calorie diet, I think that's where this product can shine for you. You know, leading up to a workout, you want something that's not going to inhibit your ability to burn body fat, and so you don't want to suck down a bunch of carbohydrates. Here you go. Yep. You know, take your BCAAs. There's nothing wrong with that. It'll help you, reduce your body fat levels, and delay fatigue as well. So it can help increase performance, even though you're on a hypocaloric diet. It'll help delay fatigue because you're going to give your body another source of energy again, and inhibit the degradation of protein, i.e. muscle, as far as we're concerned with this. So again, you'll see that study, but we read it too. You got to take it with a grain of salt at this point because of that.
Yeah.
And we're not down on BCAAs. No. We're just saying this is what they do, and this is when they're best. They're best when you're on a hypocaloric diet, and that's what they do. I know there's been a lot of research on leucine, especially, and its effect on insulin.
Insulin, yeah. They're saying that when you take a high enough dosage of leucine, it can actually cause an insulin spike, or cause your body to release insulin, much like carbohydrates would do. So there is a benefit there.
Yeah, that's why. And then there's another study that's contrarian to that basically says that the BCAAs did not increase serum insulin levels. So we're really not sure in that sense. But again, I think we've done a good job of highlighting exactly where these are going to shine, where they're going to help. And then on the citrulline front too, when we talk about arginase inhibitors, we're not closing the book on it. We would just like to see some more human studies to see how these arginase inhibitors are going to help with nitric oxide levels. Right now it's just it's a little too early to tell at this point. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments section of the video or on the blog. Also, you can find us on Facebook.com/BestPriceNutrition. Thank you.